Hey everybody, this is Brandon with Silverback MMA, and I'm back with my friend, longtime client, and also Yuki, Eric. And so we're just going to cover another grappling technique and just show that principle of hips. Again, just another example of a very fundamental technique. Today we're going to be covering the triangle choke. Very fundamental technique, jiu-jitsu and grappling, and just show again how this principle of hips can be used to make it to finish the technique much more efficiently and without injuries ultimately to ourselves, chronic or acute injuries. So and the last three videos we've been covering the same principle with striking, punching, kicking. Last week was with our rear naked choke, and we've gone over the three big benefits of this. Again, I'll just touch on them one more time. Is helps us create more power. Helps us to be more efficient, so we're not going to fatigue as quickly. And then third is going to keep us healthy. We're not going to get the injuries as much. So, and in the last videos I've kind of touched on why those things occur and whatnot, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. But, so the triangle choke, another very fundamental and very effective jiu-jitsu submission wrestling technique. So first I'm just going to go through kind of the basic, not the details, but just kind of the basic applying the technique, and then bringing the principle of our hips and how that can help us to really finish the technique. So first we're going to go through, and so we're again starting from brand new for beginners and whatnot. This is called the guard position. Eric is on top, but he's in my guard, which means my legs are wrapped around his waist, which gives me an advantage as far as attacking him with submissions or with sweeps. So a triangle choke, essentially, he's got his two arms here. One of them I want to go down. The other one I want to come up, because I want my legs, instead of being wrapped around his waist, I want him to be wrapped around basically his head and one arm. Okay, so pushing that one arm down. Now my legs come up, so you can see he's got his head and one arm in between my legs. And now I'm going to lock my legs in this triangle technique. So the leg that is next to his head is going to come across kind of the back of his neck. This other leg, and it's kind of like the rear naked choke, right? I kind of go into my bicep, my elbow pit, kind of the same thing here. This is coming behind my knee, ideally on my shin, not my foot, and I'm just going to simply lock it down like that. I'm going to loosen it a little bit just so it's more comfortable for Eric here, but I want to lock it there. Okay, and that's essentially a triangle choke. So now to finish it, again, I'm not going to go through a ton of the details. Good thing I want to do a lot of times is push the arm across. Now the finishing of it, a lot of times I see people squeezing their legs here. To me, it's similar to that squeezing the rear naked choke. You can do that. I mean, it's just more using almost my legs and not really my hips. And what I want to do with this choke, just like the rear naked choke, is I'm cutting off the carotid arteries. And so to do that with the rear naked choke, my arm was doing that right here in his neck. Now what's doing that are my hips. Again, kind of that triangle here. And I want to drive his carotid arteries in his neck here down into that triangle. So once I lock my triangle choke here, I've got his head and his arm within my legs, lock my triangle, I'm going to grab the back of his head, and then this is where the hips come in. I can pull his head down a little bit. The main thing I want though is I'm going to use my hips, I'm going to extend them off the mat, pushing them in to his head there, and that's going to create a ton of that force. And again, it's way more efficient for me than to just sit there and pull with my arms down here, or to try to just squeeze my legs or whatnot. You can do a little bit of that, but really just that missing link I see a lot of times with people is the hip motion. So again, it's just, and a good way to tell if you're doing this is my hips coming off of the ground. If my hips are flat on the ground, probably not very active, I'm probably not using them. If they start to extend up off the ground like this, then that's a very good indicator that your hips are being active and that you're using them. Again, using that principle for that technique. So again, give that, if you haven't done so before, give that technique a try, the triangle choke, and then make sure, again, bring the hips alive by bringing your attention to your hips. And for something on your back like the triangle choke, extend your hips off the ground. It's a great indicator that you're actually using your hips to work to finish the technique. So, and real quick, again, why are we doing this? Gives us more power, it's more efficient, and it's also going to keep us injury free, or a lot lower chance of getting injured. So, give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Love to hear any feedback as always. So thanks for joining us this week. Again, this is Brandon from Silverback MMA, and Eric, thanks for helping me this week. All right, thanks for joining us.